Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari. I'm live again every Monday night on my YouTube channel, which is Ajani Bakari, to tackle three hot topics, as we always do every Monday night. Thanks for joining me. As tonight's topics, we'll go into three topics that I really wanted to uh, like I said, I really wanted to bring y'all some stuff that I think y'all would like to talk about. So what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about in Tanzania, which is an African country. They have a ancient tribe that's or people that's been being evicted off their ancestral lands. This is the Maasai people. I think that's how you say their name, the Maasai people. And there's a controversy going on with that. And then we're going to talk about Skittles being sued. There's someone suing Skittles over a particular ingredient that they use in making Skittles. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the falsehood of the American dream. So like I said, I like to bring up three topics, something political, something entertaining, and something personal to me. So these will be the three topics tonight. So again, the three topics are going to be Tanzania evicting the Maasai people. We're going to talk about Skittles being sued for an ingredient that they use in their product. And then we're also going to be talking about the falsehood of the American dream. So thank you for joining me tonight as we always come through every Monday night. You can catch me on my YouTube channel. You can catch me on IG, and you can also catch me on Facebook. My IG account for the show is speaking_with_Ajani_Bakari, and you can catch me as Ajani Bakari on Facebook, and we'll be going on those platforms shortly. But like I said, we like to do the YouTube stuff first. I like to take care of my YouTube subscribers. So the topic we're gonna have about on the exclusive topic is gonna be about internet skits, right? Because we've known that there's a lot of skits and things that go viral on the internet. And is all of this real or is it fake? Recently we had a very viral post where a girl was complaining about the father of her children only bringing a meal for one of her children, which was the only child he has with her, and she felt that that he should bring food for everybody. But that went viral. Everybody talked about that. I think I even brought that up here on the show. That came to actually be an actual fake skit. It wasn't actually a real scenario. The girl finally came out on Farrah Gray's show and admitted that it was a skit and that it wasn't real, and that her her son's father was the one who came to her about the idea because he worked for a company and they wanted him to make a video, and they came up with that concept. Now I don't know who came up with that concept, but that's why I wanted to talk about this, because there's another viral video recently that just came out in the last couple of days of a girl who's upset at her boyfriend for not paying for her 18 friends at her birthday dinner party, and they're arguing in the parking lot. Now it sounds, when you look at it, because we're so used to the internet being so viral, when you first see it, you think like, oh, this is a real conversation. But a part of it, at least for me, felt like watching the video of the guy bringing the meal for only his child. It just seemed like it was staged, like, you know what I mean? So the way she was arguing with her boyfriend and talking about why you're not going to pay for everybody, he was like, yo, I'm not paying for everybody. And she was like, this is crazy. You making everybody pay. Like, why can't you pay? And he was like, yo, I'm not supposed to pay for everybody. He's like, I pay for you, and that's really it. And he was like, look, I'm ready to go. And she was like, nobody wants to be with a broke dude. And everybody's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like and it's going viral. Everybody's talking about the scene. And I, for me, I wonder how much of this stuff is really act or how much is it really real life? How much of this stuff is really people just catching candid moments in real life? We know there's always the internet challenges, and there's always stuff like that people record, the dancing. So that we know is all staged, propped up stuff. But how much, are there companies out there paying people to do these videos, to do ridiculous stuff like this, to go viral? Because again, it's not easy to go viral nowadays. Back in the days, it was a lot more easier to go viral. The internet and these platforms are not just feeding your post to anybody anymore. You have to pay them for your post to reach a large mass of people. So, when you go viral, it's a part of it is probably luck, but a lot of this stuff nowadays is probably not. That's what I'm starting to realize, that companies are realizing how much social media has a power. and how much they can utilize that for their benefit. And and good publicity, bad publicity is publicity. It's all good publicity. So you got people, like I said, like the young lady who talked about her son's father coming to her. She said that he gave her everything. Like, he told her everything to say, how to act. It was a full script. So her saying that you only brought a meal for one baby and you need to bring meal for all my kids, and her throwing the food on the floor and blurring his face out, is all that's done. It was all done pre-planned. It was all a skit. That's basically what it was. So how much of these internet skits do we see out here that are real skits? I know we see them all the time, but it's starting to become real how much social media is really the main form of reaching the masses. Everybody has some form of social media platform, whether it's Facebook, whether it's IG, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's Twitter, whether it's TikTok, all these other ones, Discord. There's so many platforms that people have to go on, and social media, and people want to be seen. People want to be famous. It was hard to get on television 30 years ago. You had to really have talent, or you had to go through a lot plus having talent to be on television. 30, 40 years ago. And people want to be seen. People want to be heard. We want to be acknowledged. So a lot of this stuff is going on in the internet. And I thought it was a good topic to bring up, because that topic about the girl, asking her boyfriend to pay for an entire dinner party, which for me sounds weird, because it doesn't sound like y'all planned this out. It doesn't sound like he knew he had to come and pay for anybody, let alone for 18 of your friends. And how you have 18 friends in the first place? I mean, they're young. I guess I don't know, but that was a funny skit, because she called him, broke in front of everybody, and that's a sad scenario, that you got people out here thinking that you're supposed to just have money on the whim to just spend like that. Life is expensive, man. It costs a lot to eat and do all the things that you see people do. So, I don't know where. Again, we talked about income. We don't make that much money. Majority of us don't make that much money, and that's why we're going to talk about that when we get to that show. So, I mean, when we get on further on to the show. So, I'm going to get on my IG and Facebook here shortly, and but y'all let me know what y'all think about that, because I think that that's something that we're going to see a lot more of. Fake fake viral videos that's going to seem real, but it's not. It's just a video to go viral. It just is. So I'm just getting myself fixed here and focused. Let me go get myself a little bottle of water. Again, thank you for joining me as we do this every Monday night. Tonight's 3 topics will be Tanzania government evicting the Maasai people off of ancestral lands for national forest or game reserve conservation. We're going to also talk about the Mars company being sued because they are the makers of Skittles. So there is a consumer who filed a lawsuit against Skittles for using a particular ingredient. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the falsehood of the American dream. Does it exist? Is it still possible to have the American dream? What is the American dream? Have we been, hoodwinked and bamboozled about what the American dream is truly about? So we're going to talk about those 3 topics. I'm going to get to my Facebook and IG followers shortly here. Thanks for joining me again. Peace and love, y'all. I'm going to go live. All right. Officially now. All right. So peace and blessings, y'all. We are officially going live on all 3 platforms. This is Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari. We are going to go live every Monday night. doing 3 hot topics. I'm officially on my IG and my Facebook accounts. I would like to say peace and blessings to all my folks there. I see my boy Slug. What's good, brother? So tonight's topics, all right, we got 3 topics for y'all tonight. The first topic, we're going to talk about Tanzania evicting the Maasai people. If you don't know about Tanzania and the Maasai people, well, this is the show for you, because we're going to definitely we're going to talk about that as the first topic. And then we're going to talk about Skittles being sued. Skittles is owned by a Mars company, and they're being sued by a consumer for using a particular ingredient in their product. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the falsehood of the American dream. What is the American dream? Is it something that's actually real and something that's obtainable, or is it just a fallacy? Is it just a myth, or is it us being bamboozled and thinking that the American dream is what it is when it's really not? Or is it really a nightmare, as some folks would say? So again, thanks for joining me tonight. Hopefully you're at home, you're feeling comfy, wherever you at, rolling up, having a little sip, eating a little something. Thanks for joining. You can always subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like button, the ring bell. Also share the content that I have. I have my material on my IG account and also on Facebook. So this is where you can catch me, and we could talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You could always reach out to me. I'm also available Sunday afternoons to talk sports. I have I'm also a co-host for a sports show, so we talk about basketball. That would be a good place to reach me at if you want to talk here. But we could always talk right here on Speaking with Ajani Bakari every Monday night live, 7:15 on my YouTube channel, going live 7:25 on my other 2 platforms. So we're gonna let some more folks trickle in, and we'll definitely get the show going and get the talks going as it's another beautiful night, for sure. Yeah, baby. Yeah, go ahead and let folks know your boy is live, trying to enjoy the night. There's been a lot going on in the world. That's what's good. That's what's good. So hopefully everybody's doing good as I see folks trickling in. So tonight's topics, we're going to talk about Tanzania, which is a country in East Africa, who have protests been going on since June. The Maasai people are ancestral people. I mean, these are ancient people that's been a part of the African continent for a very long time. They are a Neolithic people, an ethnic group, which means that they come from the Nile Valley civilizations, the ancient Nile Valley civilizations from, Kenya all the way up to Sudan and Egypt and through Ethiopia and all of that. Basically the Nile, like I told y'all, the Nile runs 4,000 miles into the African continent. These people are a semi-nomadic pastoralist people. So that means they don't settle. So they move with their herds, their cattle. They basically are cattle grazers. That's why they're pastoralists. That's what that means. So these people have been living on these lands for a very long time. But back in 1992, the government basically took 4,000 kilometers of their land and made it a hunting game reserve. And since then, there's always been problems of getting them off their land, because what the problem is that these tribes, or these folk have a lot of cattle. Okay, so as an example, back in the 50s, there was only something like 20,000 of these people roaming around these parts of Tanzania, because they basically roam between Tanzania and Kenya. And today there's only like 200,000 of them, but back then there was like 30,000 cattle, but they have millions of cattle today. They're actually doing well, and the idea is that the cattle is a threat to the gaming reserve, to have these people to continue living on these lands with their cattle, because their cattle graze and they're nomadics. Like, these people don't sit and settle anywhere, so they'll move all over and they'll graze wherever the grass is the greenest. So that's what they're having a problem. But what happened here is that they're trying to take another 1,500 kilometers of land away from these people, and they're evicting them off of this land. So the government is coming in there with policemen and security forces. There've been protests and arrests being made already about the situation. There's even talk of actual slaughter and killing these people. But the government states that they're just arresting protesters and people that are disturbing or not following with accordance with the law. They've been doing this for a while. This is something that's happened, in 2009, they did it. In 2013 and 2017, they did it. In fact, in 2009, they removed 20,000 people, destroyed 200 homes, and removed over 50,000 cattle from an area that they turned into a game reserve. And all of this is just to actually allow for tourism and for wealthy white people to come into Africa and hunt to hunt, exotic game. That's what they're doing, because in Tanzania, tourism is their second highest GDP, and it's their, third most employing industry that they have there. So people are spending lots of money to go into Tanzania to actually go hunt and kill, wildlife. And this is what we talk about when we have to talk about, white supremacy, because now they're trying to remove about 70,000 people off of these lands, which means they probably have, somewhere around 100,000 cattle that they have to remove. But it's all to allow rich, wealthy European or white folks to actually, come into their country and kill animals for a sport. You understand what I'm trying to say? And they don't really care about the land or the animals on the land or the people. They just care about the money that can be generated in and that's the thing about capitalism and greed. And this is what we have. And this is the problem that we have when we talk about this, because, the Tanzania government says they're just trying to relocate the people. And some people have accepted the relocation and they're moving them to another part of the country where they can roam free. But these people are saying this is their ancestral lands. These are the lands that they've been, roaming for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. These people are, if you go back and look at anything that's African and traditional African, you'll see them as semi-nomadic people. All the tribes that you find in Africa, from the Fulanis and, like I said, the Maasai tribe and the Pygmy people, these people still hold traditional African values, culture, and principles, but these are semi-nomadic or nomadic groups. These people never found a place and settled and created civilizations, because we talked about how civilization was created. To do that, you need to settle somewhere. So once you settle somewhere and you're able to continually grow and do different things, that's how you get places like Egypt, places like Timbuktu, places like Zimbabwe, where they are, or Mozambique, where they had great, the wall of Mozambique. These are the things that are built by people who decide to settle. They are not nomadic people. Nomadic means that you move. You know what I'm saying? That you don't stay settled in no places. So that's why when you see the traditional African cultures and traditional African people and tribesmen, that's what you're seeing. Because when the African did settle and create high civilizations, those were destroyed by the colonialism and white supremacy and the Europeans that came into Africa in the last 300-400 years, because those were the people that you wanted to take and have. Those were the advanced societies in Africa. So those were the places you had to destroy. Those were the number one threats. The nomadic people are not a threat, but obviously they're a problem. They want to hunt and game. So now you have a Tanzania government basically, adhering to white supremacy and European logic to allow wealthy people. And mind you, this land is actually controlled by a company that's owned in the United Emirates, Arab Emirates, so in Dubai. So it's actually owned by Arabs. You understand what I'm trying to say? But they're making money off of that. But who has the money and the wealth to go into Africa and shoot giraffes and rhinos and lions and cheetahs? This is what they want to do with this land. And the people just want to live on their land, which they've been living in there for thousands of years. So when you talk about these, when you talk about this is what we say. We talk about white supremacy and greed. It's all about that. It's all about the idea that European philosophy, lifestyle, and values is dominant over everything else. Because if the Tanzania government decides that they don't want to have any gaming or any kind of national reserve for game reserving, right, for game hunting and all that, they're going to be destroyed by the white powers that exist, by the European powers that exist, because they don't have the logistics and resources to actually defend themselves, to keep them away. So you're actually fighting white supremacy, and then now you have the government who is working with white supremacy, and that's what you're gonna see when you see the videos of this. Now that you've heard of this, now you're gonna be brought to, it's gonna be brought to your attention. You're gonna see videos of this now. You're gonna see pictures. You're gonna see articles of this. You're gonna see the police force. It's gonna be all Africans. It's not like they don't use white people or the Arabs to do this. They're using Africans to do this, to actually evict other Africans off of their homeland. So this is what was going on when we talked about the pipeline in the USA, when they were getting rid of the Native Americans and forcing them off of their ancestral lands. It's all about big business, big capital. What can you do? So Tanzania government is saying one thing, but the Maasai people who are fighting and their leadership and the people that represent them are saying it's a whole new different thing. They don't want to leave. They want to stay there, but they're being forced. And there's no one who can help them at all. No one's coming to their aid, and they want folks to come to their aid. But nobody's paying attention. It's really just another story that goes past in the in the wave of social media and mass media. But that's what's going on in Tanzania right now. If anybody know anything about the Maasai people, they are the African tribe that was used to make the Avatar people. I forgot what you call the blue people in Avatar, but the the clothing and the way they dressed the blue people was from the Maasai people. This is a very actually famous tribe in Africa. People go there to actually see them and visit them. They're the folks with the red, the red gowns, the red hair. There's roughly right now, I believe there's roughly over 500,000 of them, roaming in places like Kenya, Tanzania, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So this is what's going on in the world, but we don't know that. But you come here on my show, and this is what I try to provide y'all. So I thought that it was a great topic to bring up, because it definitely brings up the idea of white supremacy, the way it works and how it works. It's literally destroying ancient civilizations. People cannot live the way they want to live, because we have to live under ideology and philosophy of European lifestyle. What up, Buck? Kev checking in. I see you, brother. What's good, man? Thanks for joining me. Thank you for joining me, man. So that that's the main thing. Jumping into the next topic, it falls in line with what we're going to talk about here, where Skittles is being sued. Skittles is being sued. All right. So Skittles is being sued by a consumer from California who filed a lawsuit, basically stating that Mars Company knowingly use a ingredient which is a toxic in their Skittles that they know is harmful and causes very bad negative effects on people and side effects on people. This particular ingredient is known as titanium dioxide. It's TiO2. It's an inorganic compound. Okay, it's an inorganic chemical. It's a toxic. It's basically used to make paints, coating, adhesive. It's made to make plastic. They also use it to make roof materials and printing ink. So this is the stuff that is used to. This ingredient is used to make those things. Now, the thing about Mars is that Mars is saying that, listen, we're using this under the laws and under the approval of the FDA. So they're using it with the FDA's approval. It's not like they're not using it illegally. But it's banned in France since 2019, and other European countries are following suit and actually are removing it, right? From anybody using it. It's being banned in Europe. So this lady is saying that they are knowingly still using this product, and what she's stating is that the way they even put the ingredient in the packaging, it makes it hard for anyone to really see it. So she's saying that she is unknowingly purchasing a product that they know is harmful to her without divulging it to her. So the company said that they were going to stop using it as of 2016, but they haven't. So again, this falls back in line with white supremacy or capitalism and greed. It's all about money, right? It's all about money. Now, you want to know why they use this particular ingredient in Skittles? It's basically a white dye. The little S or the little things that you see here, the little S on the Skittles is basically what this lady is complaining about, that she's suing them over for using. And that's why they use it. Do they need to put an S on the little pieces of candy? No, but it fits for what? Marketing and branding. It works in line. You know it's a Skittle when you see that little S. It's all a part of the psychology of consumerism that goes along with capitalism and greed. So here it is. This company is using a product, right? Are making a product that is legal in the United States. It's not like it's illegal. You're allowed to use it. The FDA says you are allowed to use a certain amount of this particular titanium dioxide in food products. So they're not violating any laws. But this lady is suing them because they know it has obviously negative effects if you consume this. For one, it causes hypertension. It causes also hyperactivity, HDAD, and it also is known to possibly alter your DNA, because when it gets into your system, it gets into your blood, it gets into it cannot be dissolved really, so it ends up entering your cells. And once it enters your cells, anything can happen, which includes altering your DNA. So the company knows of this. They've known of this since 2016, but they're still using this product, or they're still using this ingredient in their product. So they're being sued for that. And now, the company has not really made no statement other than that they've been using this, this particular ingredient under FDA approval. So, they obviously, who knows what's going to happen, but possibly they'll probably just settle out of court. And they'll probably just have to put that ingredient in a more legible and more available, so people can know exactly what's in there if you're going to be using that particular thing, that particular ingredient. But, this goes back in line, like I said, about the idea of capitalism and greed, right? Because the FDA approves these type of products to be, available for consumer to consume. It's available for you. There's a lot of things that we consume as a people that is dangerous to us, but because the level of danger that the FDA allows, we don't really think of it as them putting us in dangers. And the thing is that the FDA is supposed to really work for the people, but we know they don't. They work for money. It's like I said, this is why capitalism is always going to be an issue, because money is always the root and is always the main focus. So who's going to pay the FDA more? Us, the taxpayers, or Mars Company, or Nestle, or all these other companies that have money to actually help the FDA do what the FDA does. And on top of that, the people that actually get put into the FDA, who work for the FDA, are, sometimes these people actually used to work for companies and food industry companies. There's an actual connection in a little secret underground marriage between the FDA and the food industry. The CEO of Monsanto used to be the president of the FDA. And vice versa. The president of the FDA leaves the FDA and now is working for Nestle or working for some other company that's a part of the food industry. And that's how all of this works. These are backhand deals that happen every day in our lives that we don't really realize, because all we're doing is working and going to work and trying to have the American dream, right? Which we're going to get to shortly right here. But this is what's happening with Skittles. I think it's funny because I don't eat Skittles. I never liked Skittles. I never thought Skittles was good. Even when people used to put Skittles and like Jolly Ranchers, well, actually, I kind of like Jolly Ranchers in my liquor. But when people used to put Skittles and stuff like that in liquor and make drinks and have that kind, I was never a Skittles guy. Skittles was never my thing. Now, they did have a particular Skittles brand that was, I think it was like a tropical flavor one. They did have some good flavors in that one, but I never really liked Skittles. I never liked gummy or chewy type of candies. But Skittles is very popular. Remember the old Skittles commercials? The one particular band Skittles commercial where the guy was getting married, and I don't know how much of a real commercial that was, but the Taste the Rainbow commercial and all that stuff. So but Mars Company is a large company. They make countless candy and chocolate bars and all kinds of stuff. We all know about Mars, I believe. They make Snickers. They make a bunch of products. They make a bunch of food products too that you purchase are owned by Mars. So they make a lot of drinks, a lot of everything. So they have the lawyers to back them up. But the lady's suing, and she might get some money out of this. And that's probably her American dream, is to find a way to sue a company and get money out of them. Let's see what's going on here. Not too many folks popping up on my Facebook today, but I still see my folks on IG. Peace, Slug. But I gotta tell y'all, man, this idea about the American dream, man. I had to bring up this topic because I'm reached a point in my life where I feel like I've done a lot to be successful, a lot to do the right things, and I've had some failures in my life, and I've had some great moments in my life. And I wouldn't say my life is bad or miserable, but the idea of the American dream to me never truly existed. I used to always question it as a child, but now that I'm an adult, I really know I wasn't bugging when I was a kid. I'm a first generation immigrant. Born here in this country, but my mother came from Haiti. My father came from Haiti. And like I said, I was born in this country, but my parents were not born in this country. My mother came into this country as an adult. She came in this country in her 20s. My dad was, close to his 30s and his late 20s. So when they got to this country, we're talking about Haitian people that are from Haiti, that have Haitian values, Haitian principles, Haitian ideologies, but they came here seeking the American dream. And what is the American dream, right? People say, well, it's the American dream. America's the greatest country in the world. Well, the American dream is obviously having a great education, finding a great job, okay, working hard, and obeying the laws. That's the American dream right there. That's the start of the American dream. So you get a good job, you find yourself a spouse, you find yourself a home, you have children, you put savings away, you have vacations, and then you enjoy retirement. This is what the American dream consists of, right? Just hardworking, good values, simple folks who just want to live their life, who know how to do the right things. This is supposed to be the American dream. You're supposed to get the right education, then go out there and get the right employment, or create the right employment for yourself, or your own finances for yourself, get married, have children, go on vacations, go to, take trips to Europe, take trips to Disney World. This is the American dream. Save up money so that you can retire and go into retirement where you're just sitting back on some beach somewhere or in some loft and just enjoying life. And, that's the American dream. Okay. And that's what my parents thought. But, was it always that? Was it always that American dream? Was that the American dream when America was being conceived, when the forefathers of this country decided to make the United States and rebel against England? Did they think to themselves, this was the American dream, work hard? Obviously, we know that's not what it was, right? Because they were slave owners. They had slaves. There was no idea of working hard. We got slaves to work hard for us. So that was a different society. So where did the idea of this American dream that made my parents come to this country, made other folks' parents come to this country, and just made people in general, because even before my parents, America's a country full of immigrants, right? The European influx came in the late 19th century and mid 19th century, started the 20th century. You have an influx of Latin Americans in the country in the last 30 to 40 years. You have all of that going on in this country. So everybody comes here, seeking the American dream, because obviously we talked about it last week. You can't do it in your country. For some reason, that value and principle, those morals don't exist in you, in your country. Only in America do you have that in you. But you come to this country and you think of yourself of, you're going to work hard, you're going to learn everything, and you're going to obey the laws, you're going to do everything right. But that's not how it works. The economics of this country doesn't work that way. It's not made for everyone to eat and eat well. It's not. It's made for a few, selective few, to gain some. And the rest are just going to be the average working Joe. That's what you see. That the idea that all you have to do is work hard, obey the laws, get educated, get a great job. No, it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I've been I guess what you want to call a technician, a repairman. I've been fixing electronic devices, machines, equipment, mechanical equipment for over 10 years now. And I got myself educated to do such, or at least I went and got myself certified to do such. But I worked hard to get to this position. And every time I worked hard to get somewhere, as soon as I reached that plateau, past that barrier, there was always another one. It's never ending. It never ends. Some people say this country allows you to just do, this is the only country where you can become rich and you can develop. And I say no, because if that's the case, there would be more rich people. The rich are the few. So to say that, that the few that didn't make it rich were the only people who had the willpower or the mind state or the actual work ethic to do such is false. So many people have good work ethic, good mind state, put a good drive behind it, but it's not always about that. And that's why I say the American dream is basically a falsehood. It doesn't exist. Okay, if somebody 20 years ago decided that they were my age, they were 41 years old, 20 years ago in 2002, they said to themselves they were going to retire in 2022 with $500,000 in their bank. In 2002, that was a good amount of money to say you're going to retire with. But today, that's nothing. You can't even really retire with that kind of money. So that person worked hard, had a good work ethic, had a good value system. They were able to put a plan together, a 20-year plan together, devise it, put it all together and succeed and get to that point, and now it's not even worthy. Not because of anything that falls on their end, because of the way the society goes. Because we're not in control of our actual society. We are only people that can just play. Like I said, we are playing chess. If we're pawns, we can only move one space at a time. We can't go to the left. We can't go to the right. If you're a bishop, you can't go this way. You can't go there. You only can go this way. If you're a rook, you can only go straight. You can't go anywhere. If you're the horse, you can only move in this direction or that direction. You only can be in these spots. That's how this society works. So the American dream does not exist for everybody. It doesn't work that way in this country. It doesn't work that way in this society because, again, the global control and capitalism makes the dream impossible for most people. Most of us are just going to be the average working class citizen or the other person trying to find a way to survive and shuffle and do some things to make yourself, because there's so many different ways to make money. I get you that there's so many ways to try to survive, but it's not the American dream. It's not as simple as just being educated. It's not just simple as having a college degree. It seems like in today's society, you got to have a PhD to actually be successful. And the people with PhDs don't even. I can't say that. They are successful folks. I know a lot of people with PhDs that are successful, so I can't even say that. Majority of people with PhDs are successful. But the majority of the people that I know are just working class people. We just go to work every day, hope our job doesn't fire us. Majority of us don't have the savings or the ability to save so that if we do lose our job, we can go a month or two without working. Most people can't do that. Most people go two paychecks, miss two paychecks, that's it. They're homeless. They're back out in the streets. So the American dream is completely a fallacy. It doesn't exist. And it was created, and it was something that came through after the World War. After World War I and World War II, the idea was you bring the American men back home, and now they can enjoy the values. The threat of the world is gone. They can enjoy the true American dream. They can get themselves a home. They can get themselves a spouse. They can get themselves children. They can go on vacation. This is where you get that idea from. It started in the 50s. That's when it all started. It started with the Eisenhower administration. It started with them giving out, homes and free loans for all these VA people to own houses, and all these white folks, grandparents who own homes, all came from that era where they were giving out homes to white people, just giving them out like it was nothing. And it started with World War I, because even after World War I, when they came back, they did the same thing. But they did go back to war again, which halted American, lifestyle, because now everybody had to focus on the war. So everybody was doing things that worked for the war. But once the war was over, it went back to what they were doing before they went to World War II, which was getting people homes, getting the men out. We get the baby boomers. They wanted to get men to start getting wives, to start having children, because the world needs to be what they thought was the American dream. But now that the globalists have basically consolidated their powers after the world wars, what they began to understand is that for them to control other countries and to be in other countries, to exploit other countries, they have to allow certain populations of those countries to come into America and be, assimilated, so that they can either become fully Americanized or westernized, or they can become that and then send them back to their countries to teach their other people and show them this is how we do things. So like I said, it goes back to Tanzania, right? Because if you're not a part of these semi-nomadic people who live the ancient traditional ways, you are part of the people who are more highly advanced and living in the social order, then you're going to what? You're going to live in the ideology of what colonialism has brought to you and what the Western world has brought to you. Because the ancient civilization Africas are no longer there. They were destroyed by colonialism and white supremacy and global domination. So now this is what you have. So you're always going to have that problem. So now when you go try to take over a country like Tanzania, or like we talked about with Haiti, you have to allow Haitians over here. That's why my grandma was able to come to this country and get benefits no American probably gets to this day. Because America needs to be in Haiti doing what they're doing in Haiti. America needs to be in Asia. They need to be in Africa. They need to be in all these countries and all these continents to actually extract and exploit the continent. This is what it's all about. So the American dream is no longer existent. They're not trying to let everybody eat no more. Now everybody ain't getting homes anymore. They're taking homes from people. It's a steady process. It's all about how they can always make more money and have more control of the money that's out there. And that's basically what we see. So the American dream is a falsehood. My plan is to have a certain amount of money that I want to retire with at 60. But I don't know that by the time I get to 2042, okay, that the money that I decide to stack up and all the investments and all the hard work that I put in is actually going to be, fruitful by the time I get 20 years from now. It's not probably possible for me to do those things. So, when you're dealing with all this as a human being, I can see why some people just make the choices that they do make, because it's not easy to always go the right path and do the right thing all the time, because this society will beat you down, man. This society will beat you down. And going to work every day, hustling and bustling yourself every way, doing everything that you have to do on an everyday basis just to eat and survive and have a roof over your head is enough to drive any person crazy. We do not get to live life the way we should be living life. And that's only because there's a certain group of people who want to control things and make enough money from it so that they can have that much power. And it doesn't matter whether the residual effects of their actions come about. So, you know what I'm saying? It's really crazy. Peace, Rose. What's good? The only way to make it here is to hustle. Honest living is for slaves. The working man is a sucker. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we know. Most of us are average working class people. Even the people we know that hustle, that shit don't last, man. I know a lot of people that hustle, that shit don't last. They have their ups and their downs, man. And when they up, they up. But when they down, they down. You know what I'm saying? It's not simple, bro. It really is not simple at all. Even those people, you know what I'm saying, that don't have to go to a 9 to 5, the ones that out here, the one with the entrepreneurial spirits, you know what I'm saying? It's a hustle every day of your life, bro. It's not, you have to constantly, come up with different ways and different ideas, because there's people out here that's trying to do it. It's competition. So you gotta always do, you always gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. That's real, bro. Slug said that's 100. I appreciate that, brother. Yep. Rose said wealth is not for everyone, especially not for those who want to live honestly. You have to place yourself on the line. You have to place yourself on the line. Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up too. Great point there, Rose. I am a full honest believer of the people who truly become wealthy and the people who truly become financially well off are people who don't have the right morals, or who they might have the morals, but they don't live off of their morals, principles, and values. The only principle and values that they have is to actually gain and to achieve more. That's it. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter the consequences and the residual effects of what they're doing. As long as it doesn't affect them negatively, they will do it. And that's why you have wealthy and rich people in this world. Those are the people that really make it, because you really have to have that cold-blooded mentality to do such a thing. But like I said, folks, you got to live your life, man. You got to enjoy it. We only have one life to live. So you got to find your enjoyments. My enjoyment is talking to y'all every Monday night. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. Thanks for joining me as we always come on live Monday night. I'll be back again Monday night next week to have 3 more topics for y'all. Please hit me up on the DM or let me know if y'all have anything. Send me articles, videos, whatever, of topics of things y'all would like to discuss on the show. I would love to talk about anything. But y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay beautiful. Thanks again for joining me. This is Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari, live and out. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay beautiful. One love, y'all.